Hey, Sam.
Hey, Brian. Hey, nice to see you. Remember when you were working in the neighborhood, I think you put one of those flyers or door hangers on our house. You were working locally, so we saved that, and we wanted to give you a call because I think we're ready to do something in the backyard. We want to do a patio, so we wanted to give you a call, have you come out and show us what our options might be. We have an idea of what we think we want, but we want to leave it up to the professional.
I appreciate you calling. Yeah, no, we usually do put door hangers out just to kind of let guys know that we're working in the area. So I appreciate you following up on that. And I'd be happy to take a look at your project and see what kind of ideas we can come up with.
Excellent. I want to show you the backyard where we're looking at doing this patio.
Good.
What we thought is, this is our deck. We have a little bit of an entertaining area out here, but like I said, this great room being situated or located over there. We need to have some kind of flow or something here, and again, the mud, the grass, tracking it in is an issue. So we just envisioned some type of square patio, something here that would lead us from one end into the other end.
Well, that would certainly solve the function part of it, but when you look at an area like this, which is almost an open palette here, the possibilities are endless. I mean, I could, foresee maybe a softer curve coming out towards here with a step down into the main backyard area, and as we said, maybe 2 columns here, with a raised area, fire pit, and low sitting wall. Have you put any thought into products or choices from there?
I mean, we've seen some advertisements on TV of some products, and we have yet to take a trip to our local distributors and see. So, again, I wanted you to come in and give me some recommendations. Maybe you're in the industry, you're in the business. There might be products that you feel are more beneficial to what we want to do, or lend themselves to our backyard better.
Sure.
Obviously, my wife would be more concerned about the colors or of the product, but I'm concerned about getting this area paved, and creating a different atmosphere in the backyard.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head, that creating a different atmosphere. I mean, simply a walkway from one point to another, again, that's functional. However, why not take advantage of this space? Why not create that outdoor living space? Give yourself, more time out here, when the seasons change. And, by simply adding in something like a fire pit or a fireplace, or, I noticed the grill up top, maybe moving the grill from the top deck, putting the grill down here with one of our grill kits, one of Cambridge's grill kits, and then freeing up a little bit more space up top. So, when we start looking at this project, also understand, Sam, that it doesn't have to all take place today, but if we start having the same vision, we can get on the same page. Maybe there are projects that take place over the next couple seasons. The things you didn't think about when we first came out.
I guess that would be a concern with the budget. What we come in at, if there's a way to do it in steps. But, I'd like to see what the package would be and what proposed. I like what you're saying with the fire pits, and yeah, Cambridge is one of the products that we've seen and advertised, and they do sell stuff like fire pits and columns, that you said.
Absolutely. They've expanded a full line of outdoor kits, and like I said, we'll sit down and spend some time going through just ideas, and now we can take some measurements of this area. I'll have something to work with when after today. Basically we'll come up with a design for you to look at, and on that design you'll see things that are options, things maybe you didn't think about today, but once you see them, they make sense, or maybe they make sense for this project as we move down the line.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I'd like to get an idea of what size or what you're looking at as far as how things are situated.
Why don't we take some measurements? Sam, I do see the irrigation box here. Can you tell me a little bit about what's underneath this site?
We do have an in-ground sprinkler system. I guess with the box located here, there would possibly be some lines that are, running through this area.
Okay.
Would that be a problem?
No, just want to make sure that we're aware before we get in here, of anything that might be underneath, whether it be a septic, irrigation, it could be a dry well, things of that nature. Nothing that we can't work around or work with, but certainly, better to know before we go in than to open up an area and find that surprise. So, okay. Simple questions can kind of enable us to do that. So, we're basically going to use the plantings here as kind of your starting point.
We like this vegetation here, so we kind of like to keep this up against the house, so maybe have the patio, work off.
Maybe a low wall along here to keep that down, or an edge stone, something along that, and then extending beyond the deck? Are we coming out towards the sides here? What was your thought there?
You know, like I said, so I'm looking to you for some guidance,
okay,
because we really had just thought about coming off here and
okay,
and you know, coming straight out and
straight
you know,
across,
running a patio across, and we would put the fire pit or something out on the patio, and that's what we would use. You know,
not many straight lines in nature, are there?
No, they're not.
Let's take a few basic measurements and we get an idea from what we're working with. Alright, Sam, I want to take some notes here on some of the things that we were discussing. Simple things. We're going to leave that irrigation box there. We're going to work with what's underneath in terms of what's set up for your drainage.
Okay.
Okay. Like I said, you know, the area we're looking at basically 13 by 20, you know, from house, and that'll take you really to the edge of the house there and straight across, and even if we curve it here with cutting, you know, that's a pretty good estimate there. The sitting walls, when I break this out, you know, basically it's going to have these different sections so you can see and kind of add and subtract from there when we're talking about the entire project. So 13 by 20, that makes sense to you, coming from basically the plantings all the way out?
Yeah, that makes sense. I do like a couple of the ideas you said about maybe a step down area to the fire pit.
To the backyard here?
Yeah, I hadn't even given that any thought before, and you had mentioned some columns. So I mean, if you could you know, put that in proposal, or you know, figure that in as well, you know, as an option to do like a different level or the columns, you know, that would be excellent. Great.
Okay. And we'll work with the fire pit as well, maybe an area where we have, with the elevation change, we can work in a fire pit with a sitting wall rather than having trying to use this. I mean, obviously that's always an option as the backup, but you know, to be honest with you, when you look at some of the prices of the kits, the cost is really nominal when all's said and done. So you know, we'll put that in as well. I want to bring you some Cambridge samples, you know, that you can show your wife, 2 hard samples that I have, or I'll pick up a couple different colors and a couple different styles for you to take a look at with your wife. So color-wise, are we thinking browns, grays, reds?
You know, I know my wife was saying something about earth tones. She'd like to do something that's neutral. You know, the red and charcoal would probably be not something we would be interested in.
Okay.
But do they have some soft earth tones?
Absolutely. You know, browns, charcoals, combinations of both, solid colors. Offhand, you know, if maybe larger sizes or something smaller would be, you know, what you'd like to see. I noticed when we came in there was some bluestone, natural cleft bluestone coming in. Those are some larger sizes. Do you think something like that in a concrete paver would be something you're interested in?
Yeah, that might be something that would be. Maybe bring some samples if you could, you know, bring me something like that.
Sure.
Does it have a bluestone type of look?
Yeah, there's a few different styles. Yes, we just did a ledgestone patio, which actually kind of mimics the texture that you have out front. You know, and looking at this area, we just came from the front, you know, and you know, you could certainly envision possibly a walkway connecting the two, you know, down the road. So, you know, you want to start kind of opening the project up to multiple facets, you know, whether it be connecting to the front or adding other pits and kits in down the road. But there are a few different styles. I'll bring a couple different earth tone colors and a couple different styles for you to take a look at.
That would be great. Thank you.
All right, Sam, I just wanted to take a second and go through some of my credentials, you know, some of the things that separate contractors from others. You can see here my home improvement license, my copies of my insurance, my ICPI and NCMA certifications, which are industry standards for contractors like myself, for paving stones and retaining walls. Our workman's comp. I'm also going to furbish you with some referrals, customers that I've worked for in the areas, projects similar to yours, as well as distributors that I've purchased from, just so you can certainly do your due diligence and you know, again, find out what separates me from the next guy. Also, Sam, you'll see that I use one catalog. You know, I've installed just about all there is out there, but we stand by Cambridge. I believe in the product, and as you go through the catalog, you'll see some of the things that we were talking about, you know, outside, different shapes, different styles, some of the kits that are available, and you'll also see throughout the words Armortech, you know, and basically to explain that to you, you know, when you're choosing a paving stone, you want to be careful for things like aesthetic failure. You know, the paver is certainly compressed at a high PSI, much stronger than concrete, but you know, if you look at other paving stones, you know, they use larger aggregate in their surfaces. So, you know, when you look even through the catalog, you can see here pictures of jobs that are 6 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, and your pavers still look the same as the day that you put them in. And as you thumb through this, again, you're getting different colors, shapes, and sizes. We talked a little bit about some of the kits that maybe if we don't choose them today, might be something that we add on in the future.
That looks very similar to our backyard.
There you go. You're stepped down, and that's the larger ledge stone that we were talking about outside with some of those bigger pieces. You really have, and you can see some before and afters in the pictures in the catalogs. And we also have tools, available to us like the visualizer. And now we can actually take, a picture like you see here in a product, and we can go back out to, there's your backyard, just a simple picture from what we were walking around and discussing, and in a few clicks and some pattern choices, we can actually change that to start to actually seeing some of the things we're talking about. Yep. So I think what I'd like to do is, now that I've got a pretty good idea of what you and your wife are looking to have done outside, I'd like to take some of this information back, set an appointment for tomorrow, and come back with a quote and kind of play with this a little bit too. So again, you guys will have a real good idea of what we're looking to do outside and any changes and things that we can do from there.
Okay, that would be great. And that looks, what a difference. Get rid of that muddy backyard and I can see it already.
Big difference, huh?
Shape. Yeah. Brian, you mentioned Cambridge with Armortech. My wife and I have both seen advertisements that talk about, color throughout the mix or versus just color in the surface. What is Armortech?
It's a common question, Sam. There are a lot of imitators out there of Armortech. There are a lot of companies that talk about color all the way through. I think the simplest way to explain it is Cambridge has manufactured a one-piece paver that does not have the larger aggregate stone in the surface. Now, how that affects you is when I install this, obviously, you're not going to look at the sides or the bottom. You'll be looking at this wearing surface. And a paver without Armortech is going to show those large aggregate pieces as it wears. A paver with Armortech, with proper maintenance, can look like exactly how the day it did when I installed it. Sam, thanks for taking the time to meet again. I just wanted to go through a little bit what we put together for you. First of all, before we get into the estimate, I do want to explain a little bit about what we'll be doing in terms of base preparation out there. I'm sure if you're getting some different quotes from contractors, you're going to want to know what you're spending your money on, and when you talk about a preparation like we have outside there, especially with paving stones, you're talking about, excavating down, 7 to 8 inches, putting in a compacted process base, and from there screening an inch of sand that your paver is going to be laid upon. Following that, you're looking to compact those pavers down and then sand that surface top. So, if you go through some of the procedures, and I did open the catalog here, you can see, here firsthand everything I just mentioned to you, including edge restraints. These are ICPI, specifications about how to install paving stones, and we certainly follow that. So sometimes, when you see different numbers, from contractors or other individuals, you want to know, where that comes from. Paving stones you can certainly get at our local distributor pricing from, but really you'll find that the cost is in the actual labor of the job. And to that point, if that's done correctly, this job will last your lifetime. So as you go through, this is my estimate here, you'll see not only for material, the paving stones here,